Hey, welcome back to the Parenting Powerhouse podcast. I'm so glad you're here with me today, continuing our conversation from the last episode, episode 20. And if you haven't yet listened to episode 20, now is probably the perfect time to pause and go check it out. Because in that episode, we started diving into how stress and worry show up in our lives, and then more importantly, how we can shift our mindset to begin managing those emotions. I give a lot of tips and strategies to get started so that for this episode 21, you can just kind of continue where we left off. So today we are going to pick up right where we left off from the last episode, episode 20. And, we've already talked in that episode about identifying the source of stress, understanding what its role is, in our lives, and then also the importance of practicing patience and self compassion with ourselves. So now we need to talk about what comes next, those practical steps that will help you move forward and turn that stress into something more manageable and even can be really empowering. So we left off with 3 strategies for you, and so we're going to pick that up and go to step number 4, which in this step we kind of need to break it down. So here's where things really start to get real. And I said this in the last episode that you need to practice those other things. Get comfortable with yourself and with those strategies because now it gets real. And we all know how overwhelming stress can feel. We've all felt it. Maybe we're even feeling it now. And then once it piles up, it's especially overwhelming. But the secret really is to break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces because that stress isn't going to go away, or that experience or challenge or whatever. We're going to have to face it. So let's just break it down into small pieces. So, how can we do this? Well, we can ask ourselves, let's see, what can I do about this right now? So what that'll do is we can break down like, okay, what is one thing that I can do right now in this moment? Not the whole like goal where we want to get to, but right now, what can I do right now? What is the most important thing to think about, to feel, to do in this moment? And even those very small steps, like maybe jotting down your thoughts or opening up to somebody about, what's weighing in on you, or to kind of gauge where you might want to be, pros and cons. This can really create that first bit of momentum to just get started, right? Remember, that goal is to shift your focus from feeling that maybe paralyzed feeling by the, what ifs that we always have, to then tackling what's more within your control. And that's what we're trying to find. And, just let me tell you, the moment you start taking those really small steps or breaking them down into baby steps or half baby steps, like one of my clients said years and years ago, that fog of overwhelm kind of begins to lift, even if it's just a little. It just to make you feel a little bit lighter will make you become just a little bit more in control. And then each step. So, yes, it involves patience, it involves self compassion. So, breaking it down, okay, that's step number 4. So, when you're ready, move to step number 5. And this is where you're actually going to take some action. Because up until this point, we are just observing, getting ourselves in the right position, emotionally, mentally. So here's step 5, take action. So let's think about this. Now it's kind of time to act. So, don't worry. It doesn't have to be anything like monumental, or it doesn't have to be the thing that fixes it, right? This could be still a kind of a small step, like just setting a boundary or maybe reorganizing your schedule a little bit, maybe dropping something off of your schedule that isn't absolutely necessary right now, today, or maybe even reaching out and getting some more help where you need it. Each of these very like small action steps will give you a sense of control, and you need to recognize that. Okay, this is really important. Self-compassion. I mean, think about yourself, think about how you feel, and all of these things are wins, every single little baby step or half baby step. And relief starts coming next when you feel this. So, just the more action you take, these tiny steps, the more confident and capable you'll feel. Now, that's something better to pile up, right? Once that piles up, well, it's making you so much stronger and confident. So, think about it like, just flexing a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger you get. What are you flexing? You're flexing this resilience muscle, right? So, here's the thing before we go on to the next step. This is going to be the same process our kids need to go through, right? So if they are just seeing you handle stress this way, you're modeling exactly how to manage life's challenges without letting them take over. Now, our kids don't always model very well, but at least they're using you as a role model, okay? So the modeling meaning more of a role model. And if you can do this yourself, then you're going to be a better teacher for your kids. You're going to be able to guide them, support them, and teach them. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, step number 6. And just to let you know, there are 7 steps, and these are all pretty powerful and impactful. But step number 6 is just to kind of reframe your thinking. So this is where you want to think about a really powerful mindset shift. Up until now, we've just been trying to get ourselves in this position. Now it's time to shift our mindset. Think about it this way. Stress really isn't the enemy. It's actually a signal. It's your, body and your mind telling you, hey, yo, something needs attention. Hey, look at me. This is something I don't want. So let me pay a little attention to it and figure out how to change it. And so you don't want to run away from it. You don't want to use strategies to try to like get rid of the stress. No, let's tackle it when we can. I mean, we can't always do this, but instead of running from it, or trying to push it away, let's just start tackling it and trying to reframe it. Think of it as an opportunity for growth. This, stress, like say this to yourself. This stress is showing me what I need to work on. And that's a good thing. So, yes, every gray cloud has a silver lining. Okay? Think about it this way. And when you see stress as more of like this signal, it's going to lose some of its power over you. Believe me. It's no longer something to fear or avoid. It starts to become like that tool for self-awareness and problem solving, and it will lead to more self-love, self-care, and self-compassion. And this is one of the most transformative shifts we can make, not just for ourselves, but for how we help our kids navigate their own emotions. Okay, here's number 7. This is a really important one. And step number 7 is finally, let's get here. Let's celebrate small wins. Finally, okay, no matter how small. I mean, we're learning here today to take really small baby steps, half baby steps. Well, every time we do that and we follow through, that's a win. Even if it isn't affecting anybody like directly, or it's not really making a change that we necessarily can see immediately, it's still a win that we did it, right? So think about it this way. Every time you address like a difficult emotion or you take action, you're building resilience. Whether it's, making progress on a tough conversation, finally understanding why you've been feeling so overwhelmed, or maybe just simply surviving a really hard day or a really hard experience or interaction with your kid. all of those wins matter. And here's why celebrating them is so crucial. Think about it. Every time you acknowledge your own progress, your own success, no matter how small, you're actually reinforcing that positive cycle in your brain. And your brain is a pattern recognition machine. So the more it does this, the more it's going to happen. Believe me. You're just telling your brain, hey, I can handle this. You're going through that experience. You're actually doing it. You're showing your brain you can do it, and it's going to remember. And with each win, you're just going to feel stronger, more balanced, and better prepared for that next challenge. So, just by following some of these steps, now you have 7 steps, okay? That's a lot. And I know I'm asking you to think about a lot, and this is very conceptual and very, very difficult. It could take, not just hours or weeks, it could take months to really go through all of these steps over and over and over again. But let me tell you, once you build a habit, that's easy. The hard part is getting there. But then the rest of your life is going to follow suit here. So I want you to just think, by following these steps, you're not just reacting to stress, right? You're learning to use it more as a tool for growth. And every time you face it, you're going to gain confidence in your ability to handle what life throws your way. And over time, that stress and worry become a lot less daunting. So now that we've talked about all of these practical steps and you've got a lot of work to do, I want to give you a little sneak peek into what's coming next. In the next episode, we are going to dive even deeper into the idea of managing expectations. So, not just for our kids, but for ourselves as well. How many of you feel like you're constantly putting pressure on yourself to get it all right? Well, yeah, me too. We'll talk about how that pressure can just actually trickle down to our children in ways we may not even realize. We know a lot. We know our kids. We know ourselves. But you know what? There's a little bit more to dive into. So I'll also share some tips on finding the right balance, maybe how to offer support without overwhelming your kids, and how to give them that space to grow and learn at their own pace and feel comfortable with that ourselves. That's really important. So the next conversation is going to be, one you don't want to miss. So just make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. So if this episode 20, episode 21, this one has resonated with you, go ahead and share it with a friend or fellow mom who might need to hear it. I'd also love to hear from you. I get my best questions and suggestions from listeners like you. So if you have any questions or you want to suggest topics for future episodes, please reach out. I'm here to help you, to support you along the way. And also, if you are ready to dive deeper and start feeling more empowered in your parenting journey now, I'd love for you to check out my Parenting Powerhouse course. It's designed specifically for moms like you who want practical tools, heartfelt support, and a stronger sense of peace and confidence in raising your kids or kid, teenager, young adult, because you don't have to do this alone. So let's take the next step together. I would love to hear from you. And just remember, one more time, I'll tell you, we're all in this together. We're all moms. We are going through similar challenges. So when we put our heads together and that we establish that camaraderie and support, it is super powerful. And there's just so much power in knowing that we're not alone on this journey. And so until the next time, keep empowering your child's confidence, just one step at a time. And keep practicing self-compassion, one step at a time. See you next time. Love you all.